So the question came up because we were doing swing trades and on ARK here, and a couple of the members had said, "Well, you're always saying you need to get out of this stock where you have this big long wick up and then it closes near the bottom, especially if the next candle's red." So let's talk about that, because this isn't really that pattern. This is an inside day pattern. You've got a big long, you've got a big candle, but the next one is on lower volume, and it's what we call an inside day. It doesn't go above the high and it doesn't go below the low. It's an inside day. It can be red or green, it doesn't matter. But this is not a bearish candle. This is neutral at worst, more likely bullish. We've got this V with double bottomed, V bottom right hand extension, pop. Now, disappointing that it didn't close at near the top, but quite often when you get this type of pattern on a candle like that, where it closes midway, you get a big reversal the next day and it'll go. Today it just was inside day. Now, this is a function of the market. I mean, this really is it is an ETF, but it's a function of the high beta stock market. And the IWM was really starting to go, and it looked like this was going to go with it. But today, in general, the markets, have sold off sharply here after Fed Chairman Powell was talking, and the beige book was released. Markets, sold it off a bit. It's only down 0.3%. But let's talk about the candles first, so that we get a clear understanding of what the candles are. So at the top of the market, or at the top, and we'll show it a bit in a second, you have these two candles. Call this a dragonfly and a gravestone, or this can be a hammer. Quite often when we see these at the top, these are bearish candles, and if your next candle is red, and we'll show that in a second, then you would look to sell the stock. But to be clear, normally the difference between this and the one I showed on the ARK is that the candle, even though it has a long wick, it still has a big body. So it doesn't really make a gravestone type candle. And you're normally looking for these after a big run up, a big pop in the market. Vice versa, when we see just one second. When we see these at the bottom of the market, it's vice versa. This is a capitulation type trade, or here's where the bears tried to knock it down. Bulls came back in, bears tried to knock down. If you get a green candle on the next day, then that's really a capitulation type trade, and we would look to see them go the other way. So this is important to just recognize these two patterns. Let me just let's go back to the ARK chart here. It's not you would expect to find this more at the top of the patterns. In here, this, there's your hammer, came off. It's hard. This one doesn't really have well-defined ones. But this is a green candle. It has a big body to it, closed mid-range. Next candle is red, but it's an inside day. But I'm going to show this again. What these look like at the tops and the bottoms of the market. Here's your hammer at the bottom. This is your capitulation, and here's your hangman at the top. So when this one, if you get a pattern like this, the hangman at the top with the big long wick down and close at the top, next candle's red, then you need to get out of that trade. Here's the inverse of this. Those ones, here's it at the bottom, the hammer pattern, but here's your shooting star. Big long wick up, closes near the bottom. Next candle is red, and it's below the low of the day. The one you see with ARK is it's an inside day because it's not below. If this had if this was down in this area, for sure that would be an exit. But now this is in the middle of this big long candle, so that's not negative. It's a neutral or bullish candle. On the shooting star, it needs to trade down below it. You want to, or it may not close below it, or as long as it's red and it starts to go down the next couple of candles, that's a very bearish sign right there. This is bullish, the inverse to that. So hopefully that explains it. You need to get, not that these are the ones, but you need to have the stock the next candle close or not even close, but trade below the shooting star type pattern. Not that that's a shooting star there, but just as an example, as these sell off like that. This one here is an inside day. So